Rossini. She comes to us from New York, Bronx-born, Jersey-bred. I like where this is starting. Also, last name that ends with a vowel, Paisana Mia, right? Camille and Ricky's pride and joy. Also, you saw on NFL Live yesterday, getting the handoff from Bob Lee. How great is that? So, NFL Countdown is where you've known her from. Diana, this is a show you do not want your score to count down on. Tell us your life story in 5 seconds or less.
You know, Tony, I came out screaming, and really I haven't stopped. And to quote the great Brazilian superstar Marta, if you start out crying, you'll wind up smiling. And that's
all right, that was more than 5 seconds. We say hello to Diana. We go around the horn. I think that was her FaceTime. I think she used up all her time. Now I know what her brother and sister put up with. We're still 73 hours away from free agency. That starts Sunday. Here is a Woj Roman candle. Celtics, front runners for Kemba Walker. Ramona Shelburne, we start with you. Point blank, could a reworked Celtics team with Kemba get back to being who they thought they were and competing in the East?
Yeah, I think he's great for their culture. I think they go back to being the team they were before they traded for Kyrie Irving. He's going to play the way Brad Stevens wants him to play. He's not going to have the offense cater to him. He'll fit into what they do. The only question is, who are they going to replace Al Horford with? So I think Kemba's a great fit for them, a great recovery plan. But if they're also losing Horford, that's a lot of leadership and a lot of ability in the front court. They don't have.
Woody Page, Kemba, and Boston. How's it strike you?
I'm a little bit more excited than Ramona seemed to be about it. I think that he brings leadership. He's got a great personality. He's going to be good in the locker room. I mean, I can sit here and name like 6 or 7 things that he has that Kyrie didn't have. He won't be talking about going somewhere else or staying there. He is a great three-point shooter, I think. He in his history, in 7 categories of the Charlotte team, he led in 5 for career. I mean, the guy brings class and just brings a great player to Boston. And yes, Horford's going to be a loss, but they can fill in with other people. That's a deep team.
Mm-hmm. Kevin Blackstone, Kemba and Boston, how's it strike you?
Well, I too, Woody, am a Kemba fan. I mean, I watched him for a number of years, watched him when he was in college. He's a great leader. He's a great scorer. And it reminds me of the 2-point guards that have been there before, who basically averaged about 25 points a game. Isaiah Thomas, a diminutive guard. How did that work out for the Celtics in the end? Kyrie Irving, a little bit bigger, averaged what? About 25 points a game. How did that work out for them in the end? And Kemba Walker comes in averaging what? About 25 points a game. How's that going to work out for them? I think they need to make some other structural changes with this team, have a different approach maybe to the way that they are coached in order for them to
have a different approach to the way they're coached. Whoa, what does that mean? Kevin Black. Are you speaking about the man they're building the wing at the Hall of Fame for, Brad Stevens?
Oh, you know Brad Stevens, a Hall of Fame coach? That's who I'm talking about. I mean, maybe he needs a different approach. And as Ramona pointed out, they're going to be without Al Horford, who's a big part of that team. So
right.
I'm not.
All right, enough. I heard enough of this panel. I see every single day. Now it's time to see what the rookies got. Diana Rossini, floor is yours.
Well, Tony, Woody already made a mistake here. He mentioned that Kyrie was actually a better three-point shooter than Kemba Walker, at least that Kemba Walker was.
Yeah.
Kyrie's actually better. So
I
think Kemba Walker will be better with this Celtics because of all the things that we're listing, the leadership. And really, that's what Boston's been looking for. But the original question was, are they going to be top contenders in the Big East? Yeah. Here's the problem. It's the other teams. If Kawhi goes back to Toronto, then they're getting better. And by the way, we're not talking about the Pacers. Remember how good they were despite the fact that Oladipo was injured? I don't think Kemba Walker is going to be the answer to bring Boston back up on top.
I love how you call the Eastern Conference the Big East. That's thinking of it like in a college mind. You'll get your mute for that. Ramona Shelburne, you want a last word here?
Yeah, look, if they're going to pay Kemba Walker all that money, it also begs the question, would they be better served, though, going for somebody younger and less expensive like a Malcolm Brogdon?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, somebody in that range where they leave themselves some money to improve the team without Horford, too? Kemba, there's a reason why Charlotte doesn't want to pay Kemba Walker 5 years and the Supermax contract that he qualified for. It's not just because Michael Jordan is cheap.
Well, Kevin, you seem to want to talk about Charlotte. Please, go ahead.
Well, I mean, Charlotte, what a mess they are in, right? I mean, on the one hand, as much as we love Kemba, is he really a 5-year, $221 million player? I don't think so. But the rest of that roster is so messed up that even without him, they're going to have a hard time building a
we just need to sit in this for a second and take stock of what just happened. Woody Page, the veteran, career wins leader, comes in and be like, Kemba Walker, I've got 7 reasons why he's better than Kyrie Irving. 3 points for and the rookie, Woody, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. The rookie calls you out immediately with stats that Kyrie Irving shoots 40% and Kemba 36 from 3. Wow. We'll move on. Let's talk about the Knicks. The Knicks. If they can land a free agent or if they can't land a free agent, all right, that's the conversation. Durant, Kawhi, Kyrie, the 3 bigs. Mark Stein reports if they can't land them, they'll make a run at Boogie Cousins on a short-time deal. Does that make sense? Do Knicks fans have to get used to this new augmented reality? That's the question. Woody Page, tell us all about it.
Well, I guess they got to be very careful, but I've gone up against Diana Ross and Diana Riggs in the past. I can take on this one too. So I'm saying no. Why is it every year in New York City that they talk about, well, next year be this. Well, they can't get Kawhi. They can't get Kyrie. They can't get anybody other than Boogie Cousins, who was injured again during the playoffs, really didn't give us but 1 game during that postseason time. Do you really want him in your locker room with those young players? Do you really think that he is the franchise player that Patrick Ewing was? No, not at all. I just think this is another dream world that the Knicks are living in, that they go, well, we can't get anybody else, so let's turn to Boogie Cousins.
KB, if I recall correctly, you are a fan of Boogie Cousins, maybe the president
I am a charter member of the Boogie Cousins fan club. Come on, what is so bad with Boogie Cousins? The man averaged 25 and 10 up until he blew out his Achilles.
Well, that's the first bad part.
Well, he's 28 years old. He's going to come back from that. I came back from mine. No problem there. Right. You're talking about a guy who's a 2-time All-NBA player, a 4-time All-Star. And you know what? If you get him at this discount and your team's still not very good in the first half of next year and he has a good year, you can trade him for those draft picks that you want to build up for the future. Boogie Cousins can ball in this league. I think people ought to be lined up trying to get him to play for them.
Diana Rossini, a view on the Knicks and Boogie Cousins here?
It's 1 year, a lease to a buy. Why not take the shot? Okay. What if he pops? What if it works? I'm with Kevin on that. But here's the thing, Tony. Yeah. Poor Knicks fans here. They lose Zion. Yeah. They're going to probably lose KD.
Poor Knicks fans.
And the answer to this
is Boogie Cousins. Boogie? Yes. And by the way, you said if he pops. I don't think anyone wants Boogie popping in any direction, both the Achilles or in any other direction. Ramona, let's talk about Boogie for a second. Give me the eyeball test that you had in the postseason. Does that Boogie look like a guy you can build around even for a season?
Heroically dragging himself on one leg up and down the court without the ability to jump off of it. I mean, they literally had to play a zone defense because he can't play defense right now. He's playing on a torn quad and a torn Achilles. Like, heroic. He should get all the credit in the world for doing that, but I don't know that I want to invest a lot of money in him. The thing is, 1 year, why not? Take a shot at it because you don't need to look far back in Knicks history to find out what happens when they don't get max free agents and you end up with Joe Kim.
Anybody else with Rossini here? Poor Knicks fans. I mean, this could have been the year that they brought everybody in. Oh, my goodness, going the wrong way, Rossini. We'll move on. Let's talk USA France tomorrow. Here's a Rapinoe quote. Not the one you're thinking. Quote, I hope it's just a total bleep show circus. She's talking about the game and the attention around the game and the fans and the love for good soccer. But as far as bleep shows go, the last couple of weeks here, this team, this cup, case in point, yesterday, President and Rapinoe and Krieger all trending. Diana, what's at stake tomorrow? Where and who's the pressure on in this bleep show circus?
Tony, this is huge for the USA. Who cares about France? They're playing just for the competition, just for the title.
Who cares about France? France cares about France.
Everything for Team USA here. Forget the fact that they're phenomenal and they've got tons of World Cups and Olympic gold medals. This is for equal pay. The spotlight is on them right now. Ratings are through the roof. This is the time where they can cash in, get the attention. They're going to have a big battle in court coming up. And what better presentation, what better argument to make than the success that they just had?
Everything you're saying is true, Diana. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. That is also maybe to the side of this conversation, is it not, when we're talking about this game tomorrow, and we're talking about this team in the middle of a week where surreal, bizarre conversations are happening to the side. Don't you agree, Diana?
They are, but in terms of the attitude of the Americans right now, they are confident. They are outwardly saying, we want to go in there. This is like an NFL team saying, I want to go to Foxborough and play the Patriots. You have to have a lot of edge to you and confidence in what you can do. It's going to be 90 degrees in Paris tomorrow. Yeah. And what team has better endurance?
All right.
Team USA.
I don't know if I even know the answer to that question, who's got better endurance. But KB, you've got a lot of endurance. Talk to me about where this team is today going into the biggest game of their tournament.
Well, the U.S. team has all the pressure on them, as well they should. They're the number one ranked team in the FIFA women's rankings, have been for a long time. They're the best team in the world. We know that. We talked about whether or not they were too deep in terms of talent, with Carly Lloyd coming off the bench right now. She has scored against this French team. They've won 17 of 23 matches against France. Of course, France now is a world power, but it's all about the U.S. winning this thing. If they don't win it, then we've got some questions to ask, because they absolutely should.
I can't believe we're supposed to sit here and say, who cares about France? We cared about France twice in the last century and helped them out. They've been our friends forever. And you want to go over that? But in regard to the game itself, it's going to be close throughout. You talk about hockey in the playoffs we just witnessed, that the goalkeeper makes such a difference. France has a much better goalkeeper than the United States. But the United States does have depth. They do have fitness, which will work out in that heat. And third, they have the experience of the big stage, unlike France. And so as a result, I see a close game, a physical game from France's side. They're going to take up where Spain left off. This game is going to go into extra time.
All right, Woody.
Thank
you for a prediction. I'm not asking for a prediction. Just, Ramona, if we could just really speak in the micro right here, a week where we saw a team, the president and players of the team are going back and forth on Twitter. We had a celebration controversy that is lingering for some reason. And we had the game this past week against Spain that was maybe tighter than some thought. How should this team be entering this game against France?
Well, this is the whole reason why the United States is here to win this game. Like, if you don't win this game, this tournament's a failure. Yeah. I mean, if you don't go and finish the job like they didn't do in the Olympics, it's a failure. So there is a ton of pressure on the American team. But Diana, I disagree. I think you really care about France. France has had the U.S.'s number. They're 3-2 against the U.S. since 2014. They beat them earlier this year. They're 3-1. I mean, this is a team that can beat them, and they have confidence knowing that they can beat them. So I think you have to worry about France, because the home field advantage.
Home field advantage means everything. Have you seen the numbers as well? The ratings, the share, the percentage of homes in France that I'm watching the game have been absolutely huge. Although, I don't know, is there a French around the horn? Miriam, how do you say around the horn in French?
Well, there's a French
horn. Bleu? There's a French horn. Yes, thank you very much, Woody. But there's one here, and if there's not a win, you guys are talking about it in the next show. We'll be back. Buy or sell next.
Have gone through these gymnastics if they didn't feel like they had a good shot at Kawhi Leonard or Kyrie Irving, and it's
those two in that order. This is for Kawhi or this is for Kyrie. Who would be the better fit? Just answer that point blank, and we'll get Woody's take on it.
I mean, look, Kawhi Leonard's the reigning Finals MVP, but I think they probably have a better shot at Kyrie.
Oh, you do? Woody Page, how about you?
An option doesn't materialize.
Yeah, sure. LeBron and Kyrie sort of made up this year. They won a championship together, and as we all know, and I learned lately that Kyrie is a great three-point shooter, about 40% for his
better than Kemba.
He's better than Kemba Walker, except in 15-16.
Oh, sure. All right, thank you. Way to recover, Woody Page. Kevin Blackistone on the Lakers creating this space. Go ahead.
Yeah, they did what they had to do. We know that you need three superstars in order to be viable, right? Supposedly,
do you?
even though we just saw what happened in Toronto, but that's been the formula. And so they've created the space to do that. And I would think they would go after Kyrie. I think that's the player that you want out there, given the success he had.
Get the band back together again, okay? And Diana, how about you?
I'm into all that, but really none of you are really paying attention to what I think is the big story here, and that's LeBron James becoming the welcomer of the Lakers. Guys, he's gifting his number 23 jersey to Anthony Davis. What better teammate in the NBA right now than LeBron James?
Seriously? Okay, you think the biggest thing to come out of the Lakers creating cap space is that LeBron's giving up his jersey to Anthony Davis? Because it shows that he's a welcome wagon and he's going to welcome Kawhi or Kyrie Irving?
And sell a new jersey for $1
He's
billion.
open. The arms are open.
That's
He's got
right,
the wine
KB.
bottles ready to go.
Kevin Black is on to it. If he gives his jersey up and he's in a new number, this is what Kobe did, right, with 24 and 8. Then you get to sell the new jersey and be number one in jersey sales. I like the way you think, KB. You're in the money. All right, buy or sell to Enes Kanter and Zion Williamson. Let's take a listen.
I kind of feel like he's overhyped. I feel like he's Julius Randle with hops.
That was Enes Kanter on the herd yesterday. Julius Randle with Hobbs. Woody, is that a good comp, bad comp? Is Kanter dissing Zion in some way or no?
Yes, he is. He said he's overhyped. But here's what I like about Kanter. He's not afraid to speak his mind. We have too many people that won't say exactly what they're thinking, and he did it during the playoffs. He's doing it again now, but he's going to find out when he plays against him whether his statement is true or not.
Kevin Blackstone?
Wow, what a burn. I mean, he could have chosen a lot of people to compare Zion to, but a 16-point-per-game scorer who's trying to get better in the NBA, no, that's not a good thing.
Diana Rossini?
He's obviously not from New Jersey because that was a horrible burn. He definitely could have done better. But Tony, you know what I'm paying attention to here?
Yeah. What?
Zion Williamson's reaction to this. Okay, so leading up until this moment, all we hear about Zion is how great he is. What a good person. Armina Kimes, right? Always wrote that
Social
great article
IQ.
about how he's got this high social
that's what she
IQ.
said.
All right. I want to see how Zion's going to react to all this.
This is an amazing thing, Diana. Every answer, you're like, this is a good story, but you know what I'm really thinking about? I like the way you turned it. Pivoting, you know? Change the conversation. Ramona Shelburne, how about you?
Like, it's all fun and games until the rookie starts getting the Kia commercials, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of veterans in this league that are not going to be happy when Zion Williamson starts signing the big endorsement deals. That's where we're
Whoa. That was a quick horn. That was a real quick horn. You know, a lot of people want to talk about the scores of the game, but I want to change the conversation. What I find really interesting is that Ramona Shelburne and Kevin Blackstone are going to have a front row seat for a showdown. Rookie made it. The rookie made it in her first show. Now she gets a Kia deal, right? Diana Rossini versus the all-time wins leader, Woody Page. Showdown next.
I watch this.